RBS Business Research Academy welcomes to you in the video lecture number 25, part 1. In this one, I have discussed about the orthogonalizing approach conceptually or theoretically, where I have discussed that means the what it is and in which situation you can apply this orthogonal approach and what are the advantages and disadvantages of this approach. So actually, there are the three moderation approach, product indicator approach, on which my video number 23, part 1 and part 2 are available. And then two-stage approach, on which my part 1 and part 2, both videos are available. And in the 25 and video number 25, I have discussed about the orthogonalization. Okay, this is a part 1 where conceptually I have discussed about all these one, and in the part 2, I have discussed practically how you can apply this approach in the smart periods. So let us start the further discussion on this one. But before this one, my name is Dr. Rahim Sumbro, and I'm from Shabti University, Pakistan. This is my certificate, which was awarded to me from the Smart Periods Academy, Hamburg, Germany, on completion of my online course from this academy. Okay, now, so first thing is about the what is it? Okay, so now simply we can say it is an extension of the product indicator approach. Okay, so if you watched out my video number 23, part 1 and part 2, where I discussed about the product indicator approach. So now this is the indication of the extension of this approach. And then Little and Bovid Weidman, they discussed that the developed approach to address the two issues that are a result of the standardization of the variables is implemented in the product indicator. So now in the product indicator approach, if we standardize the variable, then what happens? The two issues are emerging from this situation. So first issue is here, that's about the while indicator standardization are mean centering. So the standardization are mean centering. So in the mean centering, where we are putting our values very near to the mean. So reduce the level of collinearity path model between the interaction term and the original variable remains. So now here I would like to the interaction term and original variable. Now interaction term, that is combination of the independent variable and the moderator, while the original variable, that's about the independent variable which you have combined with the moderator. So now this step. So now a certain level the degree of correlation between the interaction and original remains. So although if you apply standardize these one, again the certain level of the correlation may emerge between the interaction term and the original variable. So despite the standardization, even though our mean centric, even though if we do these things, the again is that the collinearity in the path may still substantial up to some level. It is available over there. So now what is the disadvantage of the quality if it is available in your model? So results are that it will produce an inflated standard error, like you are watching, you know about the balloon. So if we in fact the error insert error in this one, unnecessarily it will become big. But whenever we pin it, when you puncture it, then again it will come its at its original size. So now unnecessarily your standard errors have been inflated. So that's why our bias coefficient estimates. So it will provide the bias coefficient estimate. So these are the two consequences of the multicollinearity if it's available in your model. So now to eliminate this remaining correlation, even though after standardizing your the MISA item, even though if there's a correlation, then what the residual centering use orthogonal approaches can be used to represent the interaction effect. In this situation, we can apply orthogonalizing approach. The second is that when the variable are standardized, one cannot really compare the direct effect of the IB and DB when no interaction term. So now we can, even though when there is an interaction term in both situations, like the main effect when there is no interaction term and the simple effect when there is a interaction term has been included. In both situations, we cannot find the much difference between the standardized like the values of the variables of these two approaches. Okay, and then we're coming down. So here, this is the orthogonalizing means the approach builds on the product indicator approach. Okay, the way which one is the extension of the product indicator approach. Now, okay, so now requires creating the all product indicator approach of the interaction term. So now here, like it's an extension of the product integration approach. So that's why it also create the like the interaction term of the product integrator, like that one. So looking at the figure 13.6. So now this 13.6, if you're looking here, so that's about the IV and the interaction term, and it is a moderator. So here you're looking at the X1 and M1, X1, M2, X2, M1, X2, M2. So two indicators have been taken from the independent variable, and two indicators have been taken from the moderator, and then they have been combined, or these have been multiplied with each other. So now in this way, that is the production of these four paths. Now these four paths are results of this interaction. Next to it is regress on the each product indicator on the all exogenous. So then we have to regress all these one on the independent variable and construct. So now, for example, in the 13.10, 20.10, again there's a one exogenous. You are looking here, exogenous variable X and moderator. So now X1, X2 moderator, M1, M2, these are the moderators. So now again here you are looking, so we want to check the impact of these one on the dependent variable Y1 and Y2. So therefore, we need to establish, in this way, we have to establish the estimates of the following four regressions. So these are our four regressions. These are four regression equations are there. So where we want to check now, these are M1, M2, MX1, M2, X2, M1, and like this one. Okay. And then in each regression model, the product indicator X1, M represent a dependent variable. Okay. While the indicator of the exogenous consider X1, X2, and the moderate M2, M2. So now this is the explanation of all these terms. It is independent variable. Okay. And then when looking at the outcome, the researcher should be interested in the residual term E, but not the regression coefficient B. Now, these are the regression coefficients. We are not interested in regression coefficient in case of the orthogonalizing approach, but we are interested into the among the error terms in case of the orthogonalizing approach. And then orthogonalized approach uses the standardized residual as an indicator of the interaction term. So now of the interaction term, it means that keep into the attention. Now these residual are being utilized in case of interaction term. That means the residuals are error terms of the interaction term are being utilized instead of utilizing the our exogenous, like the betas are the coefficients like this one. And then if you come down somewhat more, so here we have the orthogonal approach uses the standardized error term is in the figure 13.14. So now here you're looking 13.14. Then how they means how it is using the error terms of the xn. So these are the error terms of the where we have multiplied the independent variable with the moderator. So now after getting the residual, we are working the residuals in case of the interaction term. So here the variance of this new orthogonal interaction term contains a unique variance that is fully represent interaction effect and independent of the first order effect variance. So as well as the general error or unreliability. So now as we are considering to use the error term in the orthogonalization approach, so in this way, that means that it has no relation with the first order effect of variance. So that's why these are different from the first order results. So that's why it is ensured that the indicators of the interaction of the term do not share any variance with the indicators of the exogenous as well as a moderator. So now the error term of the interaction term will not share anything. There will be no correlation between the results of the or the error term of the moderator. No, not moderator, but with the error term between the error term of the interaction and the moderator and independent variable. In other words, the interaction term is orthogonal to the other two constructs and precluding the any collinearity issues in the construct. So in this way, we can reduce collinearity issues among the construct, because one construct is an independent variable, another construct is a moderator, and third construct is there's a combination of the independent variable and the moderator, and that we call as an interaction. Now there is no similarity or correlation between the IB and the moderator, and on this side there is an interaction term. So in this way, the collinearity among these two or three one can be reduced. Another vital consequence of orthogonality is that the path coefficient estimate in the model without interaction term are identical to those with the interaction term. So now, in this way, the path coefficients are identical to when we are involving with your working, including the interaction term, and when we are not including the interaction term. In both cases, our path coefficients remain same. Okay, specifically, this approach avoids the change standardized beta coefficient result IB when running the interaction. So therefore, this approach described the Little et al. Has a correlated error structure that is required to provide the unbiased estimates, which indirectly increase the interpretability of the overall result of the moderator analysis. So now, because of having the high level of the what we can say the interpretability, so the results of moderator are very good in this case, and these results are the estimates. These are unbiased. So these are some of the benefits if you are utilizing this approach. In other words, the practice of the orthogonalizing approach will greatly facilitate the interpretation of the moderating effect strength compared with the product indicator approach. So because of the orthogonalization approach, this is providing one type of facility where the interpretation of moderating effect is very, its strength is very good if you compare with the product indicator approach. So in the product indicator approach, the strength of interpretation is very difficult to understand. But if you compare in this case, so in this case, orthogonalization, so interpretation of moderating effect is much more strengthening. Its strength is a very good if you compare it with the product indicator approach. However, because of its reliance on the product indicator approach, orthogonalization is only applicable exogenous construct and the moderator. Okay, so now is the extension of the product indicator approach. So in the product indicator approach, normally what we do when we apply when our variable, independent variable and moderator, both are reflective. In this case, we can apply the product indicator approach. So that's why orthogonalization has also the same limitation that the when your independent variable and moderator both are reflective written variable, in this case you can apply. So now, sometimes it may be, I think sometimes it may be a problem for you to understand the difference between the reflective and formative. So in order to understand the difference between these two, my two videos are available. So if you find time, please watch those one, and then you can come back here. And then if we go down again, so here different, that's about the how to use the orthogonalizing approach, in which situation we can use. So now the first situation where we can use is that when the primary concern is the minimizing estimation biasness. When you want to minimize the estimation bias or biased path coefficients, in this regard, the orthogonalizing approach should be preferred. It's the most best when compared the product indicator approach and two-stage approach. So now, in this one is the best when you compare with the product indicator approach and two-stage approach, when you want to minimize the biasness in your estimation or in the path coefficients. The reason is that the both product indicator and the two-stage approach will provide an interaction term which can be correlated to the both independent and the moderator. The reason is that in the two approaches, two-stage and the product indicator approach, the problem is that there may be the correlation between the independent variable and your moderator and the interaction term. But in case of the orthogonalizing approach, this is not a problem in that one. So that's why this one is a more important than the rest of the two one. As a consequence, a typical phenomena of multicollinearity may occur, such as unexpected sign of the coefficient or increased standard error. So now the reason of the multicollinearity that may occur. Now, in which sense we know the multicollinearity is there now when we have an unexpected sign. So now, for example, we're expecting that there should be the positive relationship between the interaction and the dependent variable, but on the contrary, we are getting the negative sign over there. Or in this case, the standard error may be increased over there. Okay, and then although the multicollinearity caused by the interaction term is not a problem, okay, for the smart PLS. It's not a problem for the smart PLS because smart PLS is a software for the non-parametric data. So that's why. But it can hamper, reduce the interpretation or key difficulty in interpreting the results. That's true. So thus, the negative consequence can be avoided by adopting to use a residual centering or known as orthogonal approach. So now this type of the issue you can avoid, like the consequences of the multicollinearity you can avoid by using this approach. So now sometimes we call is a residual centering approach or orthogonalizing approach. So now these are. And then when aiming to provide, now when your aim, okay, in this case, when your aim is to maximize the prediction of the endogenous construct, researchers should apply the orthogonalizing approach as this approach yields high prediction accuracy. So in case if you want to get a high prediction, then this approach is a good approach in comparing the others one. Now prediction, because most of the time when we apply the regression models, so we need to predict. For example, sometimes we are predicting that if we are increasing the advertising expenses, up to what level our sale of our product will be increased. So in this way, you can predict based on the 10 years, previous 10 years data, you can predict for the another 10 years like this one. In this approach is useful for the researcher who are interested to quantify or interpret the strength of the moderating effect. So if you want to especially understand the effect of the moderating effect on the dependent variable, then this approach is more suitable than other approaches. Okay, however, now these are the good points of this one, but two major downsides are there, so which I want to discuss, even though the three major downsides of this approach are there. The first downside is about the small sample size. There's the I think biggest limitation of this approach. When you have the less than 200 sample size, this approach you can utilize. Okay, and another big limitation is that the few indicators per construct. That means that it should be the 4 or less than the 4 indicators per construct. So now these are the very big two limitations are attached with approach. Dear friends, normally we are nowadays applying the working on the MDA, multivariate data analysis. And so in this case, we need to work simultaneously on a very big model. So in this way, maybe most of the time it happens that in our each construct, there are the more than 4 indicators. Our sample size is sometimes 300, 400. Now, normally our sample size depends on our population, but higher the population, higher the sample size. But if your highest sample size is higher than 200, then obviously this approach is not applicable. Okay, so this was one very important downside of this one. Again, another problem is weak statistical power. Like that, two other approach, this is also a very weak statistical power, but especially when we talk about the product indicator approach. Now, the same weakness, from the same weakness, this approach also suffers, like the type 1, type 2 error. Okay, and then we are going down. Okay, so now I want to show a very important table at the end of this video, which will benefit you a lot. We are coming on, and yes, come down. Okay, here is this. That one is a table which I want to discuss with you. This one is about the inspect the measure of the mode of the measurement model of the moderator and exogenous. Dear friends, the whole story of the moderation starts from the moderator and the exogenous construct. So now, if the moderator are exogenous, anyone or both, these are formative, then we have to utilize the two-stage approach. But in case exogenous and moderator both are reflective, then we have to determine what is our purpose. But if anyone exogenous or moderate, if it is a formative, then we have to go towards the two-stage approach. Okay, so now we have to, if the both are your dependent variable, not your independent variable and your moderate, if both are reflective, then the choice of the approach depends on your goal of your analysis. If your goal of analysis is to reveal the significance of moderating effect, two-stage approach is good. Minimize estimation bias moderating effect, then orthogonalization approach is good. And when you want to maximize the prediction, then the two approaches are the orthogonalizing and the product indicator approach. Now, orthogonalization has the biggest two limitations: small sample size and few indicators. And now the same issue is not attached with the product indicator approach. Here, you can use the medium to large sample size. Medium to large sample size means the from 200 to 400 if your sample size is the even to sometimes 500. Now this approach is applicable, and the number of indicators, if these are more than 5, 4 up to the 8 or 10, so now this is a medium range. So in this case, you can apply the product indicator approach. So now one more thing I want to discuss with you. This is about table 13.4, problem regarding the modulation assessment determinantal the consequences of the substantive conclusion and proposed solution. So these are now whatever the issues are connected with the every approach. Now the reason and their proposed solution have been reported in this table. If you find in your free time, you can go through this one. By the way, I have left a link from where you can download this chapter from my below this video. So at the free time, you can go through it by downloading this one from the available link. So at the end, so thank you very much for watching this video completely. I hope that this video is according to your expectation. If you think this video is good, then please subscribe my channel and like this video, and also share these videos with your friends, as the benefit of these videos can be shared to the maximum number of the people. Thank you very much.